Levi here, the Outdoor Cowboy, and welcome back to the Outdoor Cowboy YouTube channel. There's not too many camping trips where you get steak and mushrooms for dinner, but it's pretty gourmet, but that's how we like to do it out in the outdoors. I think there's a lot of people that don't really like camping because of the food, but I like to show people in my video that you really can cook a lot of things in the outdoors, and oftentimes it's not as hard as you think it is. So get outside and enjoy some good food as well. All right, I think we're about ready to flip our steak. We can see the fat kind of starting to break down a little bit and it's starting to cook up. So let's flip it and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful looking sear right there. We can see our mushrooms are starting to break down a little, which is awesome. They're looking great and they're cooking in the grease a little bit that the steak was in, so I think those will taste delicious. All right, I think our food is ready, so let's see how it looks. Well, that looks pretty delicious to me. We got a nice steak, some mushrooms, and some dried mangoes. Also, someone forgot to pack utensils, me. So this is gonna be finger food today, but I'm still super excited. Well, time to sit down and enjoy our dinner. That is so delicious. The steak is super good, and the mushrooms kind of soaked up some of the same flavor as the steak, and they're delicious together. Can never go wrong with steak while you're camping. Aren't we cute? Well, just like that, we got a pretty cozy shelter. Love the way it turned out. We got clear skies, so don't have to worry about rain. This will just kind of insulate us, and in case it does rain, it'll cover us. But it looks great. I'm super happy with how it turned out. All right, just like that, we got a little fire going. All right, with our stove all going, we're gonna wait for the top to heat up because we're gonna cook our dinner on top of that. We'll get our bedding set up and then we'll be pretty much good for the night. I did want to give a shout out to go get your Outdoor Cowboy merch. It's out now. I love it. Super comfortable stuff. Also, obviously it's been through its paces. I'm all sweaty and it's all dirty and it holds really well. So super durable, super comfortable, and they're pretty sweet. I might be biased, but I think they're pretty sweet. But go check them out. And then for dinner tonight, we got some sourdough and we're gonna make some grilled cheese. And then we also brought some pepperonis and salami. So kind of a panini grilled cheese thing, but I'm super excited. It should be delicious. While we wait for our pan to cook up, got our appetizer of salami and cheese. Get her all buttered up. Alrighty, got some cheese and some salami on there. And we'll just let that cook. I think our dinner is just about done. Look at them perfect grill lines on that. That looks delicious. Well, our dinner's all done. Got some beautiful grill lines on there and our cheese is all melted. So I'm really excited to eat this. It looks delicious. Well, just caught one of them right by that nest that I was showing earlier. Really pretty frogs. This is kind of a lighter coloration of them. If he'll stay in my hand. These are Colombian spotted frogs. They can be found anywhere from Utah to Alaska in the Northwest, and they're great snacks. Just kidding. But pretty cool, these nests. All right, for the first item that's in our first aid kit, we've got some dirt, because if you get injured, just rub some dirt on it. Well, just in time for sunset, she is done. So we got this cut with the space to put the wood, and then that first piece on there and the second piece on. So we're gonna take it down to the fire pit and light a fire in it, try to burn the paint off, and then we'll get that final clamp on to hold the second piece on. But looks pretty sweet. I'm surprised how sturdy it is, and I'm excited to see what we can do. All right, got a bunch of wood collected. Thought I was gonna have to chop more, but I found a lot of good pieces, so we'll get her going, and if I have to chop more later, we'll chop some. could just use a lighter or a match to start the fire, but I want to do something a little more fun. So these are some fire starters I've made, just some cotton balls and some petroleum jelly or some Vaseline. As well as I'm gonna be using my ferro rod, which I love this thing. I take it with me on all my camping trips. It's never done me wrong. This one's cool. It has wood on the handle that you can scrape off kind of as like kindling if you need some dry wood. And then the ferro rod itself is a mix of some precious metals. One of them is magnesium, which is really cool. It burns 4 to 6 times hotter than just wood that's on fire. So wood that's on fire is around 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and these can burn, or magnesium can burn 4,000 to 6,000 degrees. So it doesn't burn for super long, just a couple minutes, but it's great for if you have wet wood or not a lot of kindling to start your fire. Something like this can be a lifesaver. And then I also just got some tumbleweeds because they burn super quick, so just to get our fire started. And then I've just packed this thing really good with wood to just get it hot and make it burn for a while. We'll probably just let it burn tonight as much as we can, and then in the morning we'll be able to paint it with the paint and it'll be all done. There's a lot of gray smoke. You can see all the paint burning off. And I think it's safe to say we built a hot fire. We got a jet burner coming out the top, so that's good though. You can see it starting to turn brown, which is exactly what we want. You can see all the paint that's burning off now. It's kind of flaking off. It's looking really good. Still got a jet burner, but it's great. It's putting off a ton of heat and our paint is burning off really good, especially back here. So shouldn't take too long. It's looking awesome. We got chocolate.
It tastes like a cream-filled donut, really.
This is coconut with sugar.
Want to try?
Yeah, I do.
The ube one?
Mm.
That's good.
That's delicious. Well, we made out here in the middle of Elk Lake. Got the South Sister right there, all snowy. There's the rest of our family way over there at the beach. Oh yeah, that is good. All right, got our shower for the week done. Just kidding. But we see some like teepees on the shore over there, so I think we'll go over there and check those out, and then we'll head back over there and get some lunch. All right, made it to shore. Still got a ton of pollen over here, but not quite as much as where we're set up right now. But we can see these two little shelters. I saw them from a little ways away and wanted to come check them out. Kind of got a little lean-to in here. Pretty sweet. Got a little door right there. Pretty good shelter. That'd keep you out of the wind, and if you threw a tarp over it, the rain for sure. Then we got a little bit bigger teepee over here. Still pretty cool looking. Great little shelter. Clean some of that out. You'd sleep great in there. Pretty cool to spot from the lake. Not really sure who built these or how long they've been here, but pretty cool to find. Here's one of those butterflies. See how close I can get to it. I like to see butterflies. They're always really pretty. I think we'll hop back on the paddle boards and head back to where the rest of the family's at. We've got one of my favorite things of all time, one of the most useful things I have, and just one of my favorite pieces of equipment, and that's the Cowboy Boreal saw. If you guys seen in my videos, I've used this a handful of times. I just think it's awesome. It packs up this small, and this is the Boreal 21. They make it in a 24 inch as well, so it'll be a little bit bigger, but still just packs up super tight, and there's no blades or anything out, so nothing will catch, which is awesome. But then when you're ready to use it, it just folds out like this into an awesome saw, blade super tight, and this thing just works super well. It's super light, which is super nice, but you still get a lot of blade, so you can still cut through some pretty big stuff for building a shelter, getting firewood, anything like that. And these blades are super strong. It's lasted me a super long time. I've cut a ton of stuff with this, and it is still super sharp. So this is all right. This next one is super complicated, so make sure to follow along. Step number 1 is to get your clothes dirty. All right, now that we got that step done, we'll move on to step number 2. Step 1 is super important though, so make sure to do it thoroughly. Step number 2 is to put your clothes through the washer and the dryer. After your clothes are washed and dried and you listen to your mom and you folded them and put them away in the correct drawer, you'll collect the dryer lint, hairs included. Dryer lint itself is a great fire starter. It lights super easy, it's super light to carry around, but it's not always ideal to just have this ball hanging around. So I usually like to take a toilet paper roll and I'll just stuff the dryer lint inside. Then when you need to start a fire, you just light this whole thing, and it's a great little capsule to carry the dryer lint for you. You can do whole toilet paper rolls, or you can cut them in half and do smaller pieces, whatever works for you and whatever is easiest to carry. Look at how nice and fluffy that teddy bear looks. Alright, like I said, for dinner, we got hamburgers, which I'm super excited for. But not just hamburgers, we also got bacon. A necessity on burgers in my opinion. But we're gonna do a little trick here, something that me and my dad used to call heart attack burgers. We pretty much tried to make these every time we went hunting or camping. And what you do is you get a pan or a pot, I'm gonna use this cast iron pan, and you throw your bacon in, and then you cook your burgers in the same pan that your bacon was cooked in, so that the burger soaks up all the bacon grease, which I think you could probably understand why we call them heart attack burgers. But I haven't had a heart attack yet, so we'll keep making them. Got our bacon in there sizzling all nice. All right, looks like our first round of bacon is just about done. All right, got the rest of our bacon in. Getting some really good juices so far. All right, got our bacon all cooked, and now we will toss our burgers in. Toss a little bit of seasoning in there with our bacon grease. Just like that, some delicious heart attack burgers. All right, I think our burgers are ready to flip and throw some cheese on. All right, I think our burgers are about done, so let's check on them. Looking great in there, just bathing in their bacon grease bath. And they're all done, so we got the grill turned off, and we'll take these off and get eating. And then this also doubles as a drink for dinner. You can just drink the bacon grease. Just kidding, don't do that. The heart attack burgers may not give you a heart attack, but that definitely would. All right, got our delicious bacon and our delicious burgers, so let's go eat some dinner. All right, we got a great fire going, and you can just see this steady stream of smoke coming out of our tin. That just looks perfect. Our Altoids had a flame on top, which looked great as well. Just burning some of the vapors that are coming out, so it's looking great. We'll just let it burn for a little while longer, and we should have some great stuff. All right, our char cloth only took a few minutes, so we're gonna let that cool down for a while. And then we're still getting a pretty steady stream of smoke coming out of our tin for our charcoal, but it's definitely slowing down, so I think we're pretty close. We'll let that burn for a few minutes, and then we'll pull it out to let it cool as well. Let them cool for probably about an hour. We want to make sure that they cool almost completely back down before we get them out, start touching them, stuff like that. But it's coming together awesome. All right, we've been letting this burn for a while, and we no longer have smoke coming out, so we're gonna pull this out and then let it sit for a while. We got to run somewhere, so we'll probably be gone for a couple hours, but that'll be perfect. Can't let it cool for too long. And then when we're back, we'll come check on it. So looking awesome. All right, and just like that, our charcoal and our char cloth are all cooled down and they're all done. You can sort of see the outline of a truck here and a little bit the letters of the Altoids there. So obviously these things get super hot in the fire and it pretty much burned off all the designs, but that's what you need to be able to burn all the volatiles and imperfections off the bottom. So let's crack these open and see what they look like. And here's our... I'm super excited to announce that Outdoor Cowboy merch is finally here. It's something I've been working on for a while and I couldn't be more happy about. You guys have seen me wearing these shirts in my videos. I've been putting them to the test in the outdoors, so I can tell you that they're durable, they're really high quality, and they're super comfortable. They're something that I'm proud to put the Outdoor Cowboy name on. And while the merch is pretty awesome, one of the best parts is that a portion of all Outdoor Cowboy merch sales will go to a nonprofit that supports the conservation of our outdoors and our wildlife. So by grabbing some merch, you're not just supporting me and the Outdoor Cowboy channel, you're also helping to protect the beautiful outdoors that we all love to explore and that I couldn't make my videos without. And there'll be a future video about the foundation that we donate to and their conservation efforts. We've got a couple different designs of shirts made in a bunch of different colors, one being the double logo I have on right now, and we also have hoodies and some other sweet accessories as well. My personal favorite being the Saddle Up for the Ride shirt and hoodie, so definitely go check that one out. And this is just the start of the Outdoor Cowboy brand. I have big things planned in the future for more products and designs. And as you guys know, it's really important to me that my content will always be wholesome and appropriate for all ages and members of the family, so I made sure that we have merch for all members of the family. We have shirts for adults, kids, and babies, and we even have Outdoor Cowgirl shirts. Click the link in description or go to outdoorcowboyshop.myshopify.com. So go grab your Outdoor Cowboy merch, support me and my channel, and support a great cause. Saddle up for the ride, and let's get back to the video. Well, we made it up here to what we call the top of the world. It's hard for the camera to really get the magnitude of it, but you can just see for miles. I just love like the layers of mountains in the background and stuff, and the valley we can see over here. Just gorgeous country. My dad and I just discovered this spot one year when we were hunting elk. We just were riding our dirt bikes around trying to scout out and stuff, and just kept turning on different trails and stuff, and one eventually led us up here to the very top of the mountain. And this was one of our favorite spots to come just because of how pretty it is. So we are gonna sit down and have a little lunch up here, just some cheese and crackers and pepperoni, and just enjoy the view for a little bit. All right, now for the best dessert known to man. Now for one of my favorite desserts. So we got these like cast iron clamshell things. They clamp together and close. Okay, you take one of these clamshells, clean it out, and then I've just got some butter nonstick spray. Spray that on both sides. And then I got some cinnamon swirl bread. That's the key ingredient. So take 2 pieces of this, And then what you'll do is you kind of smash it into the clamshell and then start pressing down the middle so that it makes like a little bowl. Do that on both sides. Then the other key ingredient, easy 2 ingredient, some apple pie filling. Take your can opener, and then you got your clamshells, and just put a little bit. You don't need a ton. That might have been too much. We might have a disaster of exploding out the sides, but that's all right. Another thing is, inside you can also put like chocolate or Reese's cups or anything your heart desires. So just like that, and then close her up, and let's go put her in the fire. So for this, you'll definitely want the fire to be down to coals like this, so it's good that the fire's kind of running out a little. We'll just wait now. Then after about a minute or two, just give it a little flip. Not trying to cook anything too much. All right, I think we're about ready to pull her out. Go see what she looks like. All right, let's see what we got. She's toasty. And just like that, we got us a little pie. That's better than McDonald's. We made it to the trailhead. You can hear the river in the background rushing. So I'm super excited. I also realized I said the name wrong. I said Tomorrow Falls, but it's Tomalo Falls with an L, not an R. So that's my bad, but that's where we're at, is Tomalo Falls. Trailhead's right up here, so we're gonna get hiking. And I don't think it's too far away. You can hear it pretty closely, so it shouldn't be too long of a hike, but let's see how it goes. There she is, Tomalo Falls. That's gorgeous. You can see the river rushing down here below. I'm not sure exactly how tall it is, but I'd say it's probably anywhere from 60 to 100 feet tall. Looks pretty big. You can see people way up there that are hiking out there for scale. But we're gonna hike up there in a little bit and see what it looks like from the top. And apparently the view looking out over the whole valley is pretty cool as well. But pretty awesome looking, pretty incredible that nature just makes these things. On this trail that goes down to the river, so we're gonna try to follow it, see if we can get down there. Pretty incredible how fast this river is moving. There's a lot of water going down through that. Found a little trail that loops down under the platform we were standing on and kind of get a view of the waterfall. Pretty incredible. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard that this is a really cool place to ice climb up the waterfall in the winters. I've seen pictures of it where the waterfall is completely frozen and people will ice climb it up to the top. Pretty amazing. Some cool signs here at the trailhead. I talk about how the falls in this valley were shaped by glaciers, and then talking about the watershed, and then a fire that happened about 40 to 50 years ago, and kind of the effect it's had on the river and kind of how it shaped it to be what it is today. All right, now we're hiking up to the lookout above the falls. Here we are at the Tomalo Falls Lookout. Just hiked upstream a little ways. Just super pretty. I love this country. All the trees and all the logs that have fallen in the river and just the river flowing. We'll definitely recommend this hike. Come in and see in the falls if you guys are ever in the area. When we were up on top, I saw a trail that leads to the base of the waterfall, so I'm gonna try to hike down there and see if we can get a cool shot. Here we are at the base of the waterfall. And in honor of Luke from the Outdoor Boys, who will always be the outdoor legend, I brought some bread and I brought some honey butter. This is gonna be our dessert after dinner and I'm super excited about it. We'll just take some dough out of our bag. We'll just kind of stretch it out and form it into like a little flatbread. This is a little bit stickier than it's supposed to be, but I think it'll still work fine. All right, I just kind of tossed our bread on there to finish it up, and then also I'm gonna set the honey butter right here just to kind of warm it up by the fire and get it melting. All right, in honor of Luke from the Outdoor Boys, one of the greatest outdoorsmen to ever do it, we've got freshly baked bread I just made over the campfire and some nice honey butter. That is so delicious. He was not wrong. I'm dripping it everywhere, but it's so good. I don't know if any dinner in the outdoors will beat steak, mushrooms, and fresh bread and honey butter. All right, well, I think that looks great. I love that. We got all our wood cleaned up around here. Now it's all waterproof, stacked nicely, cut to a good size, so when we're ready to use some of these logs, we can just chop them real quick and use them as tinder or the fuel for our fire. So that's just awesome. I'm super happy with how this turned out. So. You can see just how close these rings are together and how many of them are. Just means it's really dense wood and it'll just burn super great. Obviously it'll take some time to dry out. It's still pretty wet, it got sap and stuff in it, but this will turn into great wood. And it's just so cool to look into these and just imagine the life of this tree, because all right, I counted 44 rings is how many I had, and it's just cool to see how close some of them are together, but how far some of them are apart. So that time it grew a lot, and just how dark and light some of them are. And it's just super cool to think about. Just this tree lived for around 45 years. I'm not exactly sure. That's just how many rings I could count. And then obviously it fell down when it got super windy last year, and it lived a good life of 45 years, almost double my age. And now we get to use it to keep us warm in the winter and when we want a fire. So pretty cool to see that, and grateful to have trees like this. And just really cool to see the life of these trees with all the rings and stuff in them. So pretty awesome. All right, and just like that, we got the final product, our finished pan, all seasoned up. Just got a really pretty color on it. This thing just looks gorgeous. It's just a super pretty bronze color, and you can see the beveled edges now, and then our handles. So it just looks awesome. I'm super pumped for this, and I'm so excited to use it. It's super light, way lighter than the other pan, and I think it's even bigger, and it's also flatter, so it'll pack super well. We went on one side of the ship and then came up on the other side, which just super cool to look out here. It's really cool. You can go inside the ship. Got the American flag flying there, everything off in the distance. Pretty amazing piece of history they got here, and pretty awesome that you can come check it out for yourself. Made it through quite a bit of snow and just crossing a stream, so I'm going to fill up my water bottle. Since I don't know how clean this stream is, I'm going to filter my water, which I have these sweet Grail GeoPress, I guess. I'll put a link down in the description. I've loved them. Used it a bunch of different times. I'll put a link down in the description for them, but they've worked super well for me. Super light when they're empty, and filter really well. So these have a little fill line with how high you fill it up. Then you just grab this guy, unscrew it, stick it in there, and then push down. And as you push down, it pushes water through the filter into the inside container where you'll have filtered water. So this water down here is pretty murky and has quite a bit of foos gold in it. Actually, it's pretty sparkly. Now I got some nice cold filtered water. All right, I know I already signed off for tonight, but when destiny calls, you have to answer. And there are a whole bunch of toads out here that need catching. I just thought it'd be fun to spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes out here. It's super late, I gotta go to bed, but let's go see how many toads we can catch. They're super pretty and they're pretty big, so should be a lot of fun. Let's go do it. There's toad 1, toad 2. There's our first 3 set of toads. Toad 4, toad number 5, toad 6, toad 7. And I can see this little hole in here is where they live, so there's a couple more toads right in there. Forgot what number we're on. I think 9, 10, something like that. Double whammy right here. You gotta be quicker than that. Oh, this one's quick. Ooh. There we go, I think 12. I saw a bunch of eyes over here. 14. There's a big one right there too. 15. All right, we had a bunch of fun out there. Caught about 25 toads in total. And it just was a blast catching them. So that was super fun to see them. Like that, we got our completed Thanksgiving campfire meal and it looks so good, so let's get digging into it. Here I was trying to make the pull tab thing work to light our fire starter. I'm not sure if my matches are too thin and don't protrude from the cardboard enough to get good friction, or I know that some strike areas on matchboxes are rougher than the one I was using, so maybe that would help. But after many failed tries, we just started it with a lighter. So we got our beef ravioli in a meat and textured soy protein sauce all heated up, which it actually looks better than I thought it would. You can tell it's ravioli with meat. I think I was just scared with the textured soy protein sauce. So it doesn't smell very good. You can like tell that there's a hint of ravioli, but it's kind of just gross. So let's give our ravioli a try. That is disgusting. I don't know what's in there, but that is nasty. It smells better than it tastes actually, and it smells pretty bad. You can like smell that there's some ravioli, but when you taste it, it doesn't taste like ravioli at all. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty bad. And today it's still family owned, used for cattle, conservation, and movie production, like the Jurassic Park gate right here that we see. Even with some friendly dinosaurs added right there just to make it the whole deal. But it was super cool just to be in the place where the actual movie was filmed. It's crazy that that's the gate that held the dinosaurs into the park and that you see in the movie. So, but not far from the gate, we come across several World War II bunkers. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, this whole area was fortified to protect Oahu's east coast. Kualoa Ranch even had a small runway back then, And these bunkers that we see, some of them had anti-aircraft guns ready to defend the island. We can still see these bunch of them that are scattered across the island, which is super cool, that these all were built in response to Pearl Harbor. So none of these were actually able to be used in war, but they were set up just in case more attacks happened on Pearl Harbor. So super cool to see. They traded World War II bunkers for a dinosaur movie, which is pretty funny. But super pretty views, super cool of the ocean right there. And speaking of World War II, we got to go inside one of their actual World War II main bunkers. And it was super cool. It is a couple 100 feet under the mountain above you and you're in the back, which is super cool. And it's just got a ton of old memories in there, different pictures, different rooms like this emergency supplies room, and we'll see other rooms of where they stayed, different pictures and memorabilia, stuff like that. So it was super cool. And about 24 stayed in this bunker full time to operate the weapons and defend the island. And then we get here to the Coolho Ranch movie wall. So pause it, see if there's any movies or TV shows that you like that were filmed here, because it's super cool to see all these props and stuff that are still here from movies in the past, and you can see your favorite movies, how they were filmed, and different things in it, all the way from Jumanji to Jurassic Park here with some friendly dinosaurs. And now we were back outside, back on the tour, and it just kept getting better. The weather was kind of windy and rainy, but the views were just still gorgeous. The valley that they have is so pretty, super lush and green, just surrounded by these huge cliffs that turn into waterfalls when it rains. So it was super cool. And since we were on the movie tour, we learned about filming movies here, and we learned that people are able to build whatever they want for their movie as long as they're willing to take it down after, unless the ranch wants to keep it up and put it on their movie tour like this. We can see here there's a big old Kong footprint from the movie, and then here's where they filmed part of Jumanji, where they built the big shed that had the helicopter in it and stuff, and they fought off people. So it's just super cool to see how they're able to turn just this gorgeous valley with all this beautiful scenery into a full-blown movie with some props. The next part was one of my favorites. They have some of these amazing native Hawaiian buildings up. So they have a couple different examples of what buildings could look like, from schools to houses to where the chief would be, but just super cool to see how they're built. Next thing, here we come to the Boneyard, which has some props from your favorite movies. So we got some leftover Jurassic Park fossils, and then some of the Kong fossils as well over there. And you can see that these are just made of styrofoam. You can see some pieces that are broken off, but just crazy the size of it and how cool it looks. It's just huge. And then up here they got Kong backbone and Kong skull from the movies as well. All right, we got a great fire going. We're gonna make some s'mores, which a great hack for s'mores that we like to do, if you don't want to get graham crackers and chocolate, is you can get these fudge stripe cookies, and they'll kind of double as both. So you still roast a marshmallow like normal on a stick, but then once your marshmallow is done, you just put two of these on the outsides, and it's basically a s'more with only having to bring two things. So it's kind of a hack, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. And while we sit around the fire and make s'mores, I'm gonna go grab my guitar and just fitting around the campfire with some tunes and some s'mores, so doesn't get much better than that. So got our first finished s'more, just a nice marshmallow with 2 fudge cookies on the outside. Oh yeah. They said in the pond they have some jellyfish. So cool. You can touch it if you want to. All right, fire starter number 4 is only for the kids. So if you're an adult, just look away right now. Fire starter number 4 are crayons. Crayons actually burn pretty well. It always surprises me how long they burn. So I'm excited to see how they do in our burn competition later. But these things are great, super cheap for a bunch of them. And it's pretty fun that you get to pick your own color. But make sure to only light your crayons on fire with adult supervision. Let us get a fire started and we'll get breakfast going. For breakfast, we got cinnamon rolls, which are super delicious. If you're cooking these at home, obviously you need like a pan and an oven and stuff, which obviously we have none of that. We just have our little stick that we use to cook our hot dogs on, which is gonna be all that we need. So I'll show you how to cook these cinnamon rolls. All right, we got a fire going, which is great. Now we're gonna open these guys up. Oh man, I love it when they just pop open. You don't have to like try to jam your thumb in there or anything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our stick that we had last night that we roasted hot dogs on, or just any stick, whatever, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be the same one. And we'll just grab out one of these cinnamon rolls, and then we're just gonna wrap it around the stick, just kind of starting at the top, just like that. And then it's just roasting it like a hot dog now. And because it's so thin, it really shouldn't take that long, but just kind of try to get down in the coals, not just directly in the flame, so it'll bake a little better. Alrighty, I think we're looking pretty good. Nice and golden brown right there, cooked all the way through. It's even falling off for me, look at that. So now what we need to do is get to the end. This one comes with cream cheese filling, which I would definitely recommend. So find the end that has the cream cheese filling, then just drizzle some of this on there. Oh yeah, camping breakfast. Doesn't get much better than that. That's delicious. You can never go wrong with cinnamon rolls. Well, that was delicious. So just like that, we got my dream survival hatchet. The custom wood handle wrapped in extra paracord. We got the hatchet head all cleaned up. And then this sweet custom sheath that we made out of leather. So I love this thing, and I will definitely be taking this on some survival campouts. So watch for this. And just like that, we got a delicious outdoor cowboy burger. So we'll set that aside. Let's check on our potatoes. All right, we got our delicious burger, and then we can't forget about our side. Here's our nice potatoes and onions and peppers. They just look delicious. Got a nice cook on them, and the potatoes are nice and soft. And then the onions and peppers are nice and broken down. So that looks awesome. Here's our completed meal. We got a cowboy burger, some delicious campfire potatoes, peppers, and onions. All right, then the final and possibly most important test. So we'll slice this down the middle. Oh yeah, that right there looks delicious. Got cheese and juices gooing out. Doesn't get much better than a nice outdoor cowboy burger. All right, and for our first fixed blade knife, we have this super cool National Wild Turkey Federation knife that I've had for a little while. Super cool, just nice fixed blade with a wood handle. Got some cool printing on there, and it comes with a cool case. Just a really awesome knife that I love, and a cool foundation that's all about science-based conservation and hunters' rights, so really like this knife. All right, and then our next fixed blade knife is a really cool one. It is a Buck Alaskan Guide knife, which just has a really cool, unique handle, has a really nice skinning hook, which comes in handy for animals, and it just stays super sharp. So I love this thing, and I've taken it on many hunting trips. All right, and then for our second to last fixed blade knife, we have this really cool knife that I got while I was in Texas, and it just has some really cool elk on it. Really cool engravings in the blade and in the handle. Not a super strong knife, not one that I take out. It's pretty dull, but just goes to show that knives can be really cool items that you can collect and can have personality to them. So I love this one. All right, and then our last fixed blade knife is probably the knife that you guys have seen the most if you watched my channel, and it is the knife that I forged out of leaf spring. And I just love this knife. You can see that it's super thick, super durable. This thing will never break. And like I said, a fixed blade knife is super awesome because it doesn't have a hinge to break at. And especially when it's nice and thick like this, it's definitely not gonna break. So that's why this is my survival knife, just because it's got some good weight to it, so it can work to hack branches off, anything that I need for that. But it's also super durable, which is one of... All right, we got our baby bell all browned up and a little melty, so we'll just take our crackers, slide it right off, put our other cracker on, give her a little smush. Looking delicious with cheese oozing out, so let's go see how my wife likes this one. All right, my love, I made you a savory s'more with pepperoni and baby bell cheese.
Wow.
How is it?
Pretty darn good. I like it.
That's a success on the savory s'more. So just to wrap up, I'm super grateful for all the support this year. For all of you that subscribed, that watched my videos, that commented, anything like that. I'm super grateful for it. I love making these, and just seeing my dream turn into reality just makes me super happy. So I'm super excited to continue to grow this channel the next year, do some awesome things, and continue just to do what I love. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button for family-friendly outdoor videos, and let's saddle up for the ride in 2026. If you like this video, make sure to check out the Outdoor Cowboy YouTube channel. We've got new videos every week, survival adventures, camping projects, tool restorations, and a whole bunch more. Hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.